Zach really loved this little movie called Skinamarink. But I really like this movie called The Outwaters. I'm pitting them against each other. Outwaters better. Outwaters swept, bro. But tell people why Skinamarink's in second place.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen Outwaters, so I can't really like argue your points on it. At least for Skinamarink, I just thought the film was such an effective, like eerie film that gets under your skin. To me, I don't know if I've ever seen a movie that better captured that feeling of when you're a kid and you don't want to go into the basement, even though you've been there like 100 times before. It's just like, it's too dark and I need somebody to turn on the lights. And that undescribable haunting, that unsettling feeling is so well depicted in this movie. It's not going to be for everybody because it's so focused on weird details. Like, I feel like the camera never looks like it's done being set up. It looks like somebody kind of like put it down and like decided to get back to it later because they're focusing on like the corners of roofs and like the moldings on door frames.
It just dropped.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's like a new generation's Blair Witch Project because it's, again, this kind of like messy assembly of footage that gives you a feeling more than it gives you the visual language than you necessarily need to know what is literally happening. And there are all sorts of interesting interpretations out there now about whether this is a story of abuse or whether this is a story of like violence or whether this is something even much more innocent than that. And I think all those interpretations are interesting, but they're not necessary because for me, this is just a movie that is about a feeling, about the discomfort that I think we all know from that, what you get when you like look into a closet door that's half open and you swear you saw something in there. It's really effective, man. It's slow, I get it, but it's really effective.
I felt that, dude, when the trailer played before Megan. I legitimately had not had feelings like that in a theater. Be it the sound design, or like you said, that tone that they get. It is that eerie thing where you're up in the middle of the night and it feels like there's just static on. It got something with me on that trailer. Then I saw it. And I still think it's good. I wanted to love it as much as Zach. But that's why The Outer Waters came to my rescue. You had just called the previous one the Blair Witch Project for a New Generation. Zach, I like to call this one the Blair Witch Project for a New Generation. This is about 3 SD cards that are picked up and in order, supposedly, chronologically re-put back together about this group of, they're not teens, they're like in their 20s, I want to say, who go out in like the desert. And then things go crazy. That's all I could put it. Just like Skinamarink has the camera in one position and you feel the actions happening like you can only see the feet or whatever. This is a movie where imagine everything's blacked out and like the only thing you can see is like what's right there in the middle. And it's you're getting like 5% of the screen for like good chunks of this movie. But it's those little instances where that little sliver of light catches something in the desert where you're like, nah, that looks insane. This is a bloody movie. This is one that takes the found footage element to a whole other level in terms of how visceral it can be. It's still, if you are not a fan of found footage, this isn't going to be the one to convince you. If Skinamarink was a little too slow for you, this is a little bit more fast-paced, but nonetheless, it's not like it is kind of balls to the walls of a thriller. It may not supersede the Blair Witch Project, but damn, is this a good child, a good honorary movie that's definitely going in its footsteps. This starts to get a release this week in a lot of limited theaters, the same way Skinamarink did, to the point that this is actually a movie being released alongside the Skinamarink movie, and both directors have been touring it. There's a really good New York profile on both of them talking about what they did in terms of making these independent horror movies, the budgeting, and specifically the tone that both directors were going for it. So I am pitting them against each other because I'm an a-hole, but in reality, they've been working really great with each other. I just want to see both of them get a lot of attention, and usually that's when you get your verses. But This one is starting in theaters. Your favorite one for Skinamarink is in Shudder. So if you wanted to revisit that one, you can catch it from the comfort of your own home. And I'm pretty sure Outwaters will get picked up by a streaming service very soon. But in the meantime, it is in theaters. So some creepy horror movies already at the beginning of the year. I'm curious to see how long these last, but then also what's going to supersede them. Skinamarink and The Outwaters. Let us know your favorite when you're able to catch both of them.